Well, hi there, everybody. I've never started like that before. Hey, everybody,
That was
welcome to Hear Us Out. I know, Paul. I wanted to see what would happen. Hey,
that was
everybody,
very
welcome to Hear Us
gentleman of
Out.
you.
That's the phrase we always start with.
That was incredibly gentleman of you. Like how that was real. I was just like, "Who are you?"
I know.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Paul.
And I'm
How's
Patrick.
like?
Yeah, I'd never mess with your intro, folks. Never mess with your intro. It makes everything feel like somebody else's underwear. Paul, what? Tell the folks. Tell the folks what we're talking about tonight. I'm trying to go with the YouTube rules. Get your thing out there fast, because if you don't tell people why they're here, apparently they'll all leave. So what are we here?
About me. So today we're going to be talking. So it's once again it's the end of the month, so we're going to be talking about our news roundup. We have a lot of stories actually, quite, which is nice. A lot of honorable mentions and a couple of stories that we kind of really want to deep dive into, from Indiana Jones, Pixar, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and a couple of other things that are going to be going on here. So
all manner of stuff.
So we got Marvel, DC, everybody.
Everything
came out today because it's December is coming up, so everybody wants to get their news out.
And happy Thanksgiving to all our US friends. For anybody who's watching this later on and it's not Thanksgiving, I hope you had a good Thanksgiving and survived Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and all that other stuff. Hey, we got Pop Culture on saying happy Thanksgiving from the States. Happy Thanksgiving to you. I hope you and your family have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thankful.
Oh, go for it.
We're thankful for all the people who are watching right now. All our audience, everybody, all our fans who have liked, subscribed, ring that notification bell for us. Which goes also, just on a note, if you are going out for Black Friday, don't trample kids.
No,
just
trample
take
adults.
your time. You'll be fine.
Yeah, this is the messy energy on this episode is off the charts, folks. So me and Paul, we're gonna have a lot of fun, and we're gonna let the internet record it. So strap in, buckle up. This one's going to get weird. Paul, I think we should, before I get too far into my... See, they let me have caffeine again. Oh, that's fucking awesome. I think we should have a little talk about a story that you dropped in at the very last minute. Wednesday came out on Wednesday.
Yes, yeah. So
genius marketing there, Paul. Genius marketing.
It was great. Yeah, so Wednesday, the Addams Family TV show, which some people are saying is actually a follow-up of the old Addams Family value movies and movies. So they're saying that it's very close to us. So cool. It's good that it's got that kind of vibe going. But yeah, it released on the 23rd, which was yesterday, which is a Wednesday, which is great. As you said, great marketing. It's on Netflix right now. Which was we're getting the reviews that I've been seeing is that there's some amazing scenes that people have really enjoyed, and then the kind of, I guess, overall things have been a little bit mixed, to kind of going, it's a bit difficult to follow the plots and stuff like that, and some people are saying that it's just amazing. It's one of the best things that Netflix and Tim Burton has done in a while. So
do you know if it's weekly or if it's all at once? Because I'm assuming it's
all
weekly.
of it.
Oh, is it all?
I think
at once?
all of it is out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, or at least the first.
I might give it a go sooner rather than later then.
Or at least, if anything, the first 8 episodes are out.
Right.
If it's not an 8th episode series.
Well, can we take just a moment, Paul, and do an absolute massive virtual round of applause for Christina Ricci? Because there's no way, and I don't care. People say they're into the Addams Family. Yeah, you could have been into the original show. I grew up watching the Monsters, the Addams Family, all that stuff in the original runs. But when they made the movie with Raul Julia and everybody else, and it was all great, Christina Ricci made the movie work. She made the sequel work, and don't get me wrong, everybody else was great. Christopher Lloyd, particularly, standout performance in some ways, and whoever's hand was the hand. And let's face it, Cousin It was just way ahead of that, beard bro thing, just all of us having so much more hair. They didn't know how far ahead they were. But Christina Ricci, holy gosh, she made that character her own, but also she was a star. Like, it was one of those things, that's somebody that's not going to disappear. Now, she didn't have the career that I think she could or should have had, but the idea that if we're going to do a TV show, Wednesday is the one that they would pick. This isn't Gomez. This isn't called Morticia. This is called Wednesday, because her portrayal, and the writing of that character was so good that it left such an indelible mark that, yeah, like I hope Christina Ricci watched this. As far as I know, she approves and likes it, and particularly likes the performance of the new lead actress. I think that's cool. I hope she's watching it and realizes that it's actually a big compliment to her. So if you're out there, Christina Ricci, do us a favor, like, subscribe, and share, because that's all we want from anybody, even if you're famous. But yeah, so good on her. Good on her. It's nice when you see these things after all these years come back to think about why. It was the hard work of a bunch of people and a great performance from one actress.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Like they wouldn't have been able to get away with like doing Pugsley's, I guess, rise to power, or any series with Pugsley kind of thing. It has to be Wednesday. She was always the ringleader of kind of the mischief children and stuff like that. You couldn't even do Pubert, the baby from
the second one,
yeah. And pop culture also said that the Thanksgiving play, the Pilgrims meeting the natives, which goes in 2 is a classic, and it is. Yes, there's
really is.
a lot of scenes are kind of reminiscent of the movies. So if you enjoyed the movies, then you're definitely going to enjoy the rest of the series. So
I'm going to check it out. I think that's cool. So we're not announcing it as news, other than the fact it's news. It's out. Go and see it. If you're into that sort of thing. Paul, onto what I'm going to call, and I'm going to go for it, Paul. I'm going to take my top topic as the top topic, because I'm just being cheeky, and also I've got the mouse in my hand here to do the clicky clickies.
Go for it.
It's a case of the Bobs, everybody. It's all about the Bob. If you haven't heard, or if you don't care, there's a little company called Disney. It has this mouse mascot. You may have heard of it. They started off meager beginnings, etc., etc. Pretty much for the last 10 years, they've dominated all of entertainment. They own everything that is not, they own most things. They've great history with theme parks. They're a quadruple threat, whatever way you want to put it. They are an incredible behemoth of a company. A lot of people credit, okay, there were people in the build-up, but in the recent years, a man called Bob Iger. Bob Iger retired, technically retired a couple of years ago, even though he stayed on as an advisor for a while. But when he was finally fully gone, a guy called Bob Chapek, the guy who, in this picture, you can see Minnie and Mickey are ignoring. Well, guess what? They're ignoring him even more now, because good old Bob Iger is back, and Bob Chapek, who used to be the head of their parks division and then took the big top job, he's been ousted. They've got their familiar friend back in a time when Disney and Disney Plus has been an unprecedented success in many ways, but there's all these talks of layoffs and, tightening belts and all that good stuff at Disney. It's news, Paul, because Bob Iger has a brilliant track record. It'll be interesting to see where he points Disney Plus next, because he doesn't ever, or he has never struck me as the kind of guy who sits there and goes, yeah, this is all running well, I think I'll just let it go. He's going to be looking at the next angle,
which is exactly what you need in this day and age of streaming. Yeah. If you can't stay in front of the kind of curve, then you're going to get lost in behind it, which we sadly have said that a few other streaming services like Netflix and stuff like that have fallen behind the curve. Not saying that their content in any way is being bad. None of that is true. We're just saying that they haven't made the next big move that they might have wanted to make. So it'll be interesting to see. Yes, Disney made interesting news with the fact that they bought Fox and started moving all their content onto it. Bringing all the kind of, I guess, superhero on the Marvel side into one house, which is great. So it'll be interesting to see what Iger does with the future of Disney Plus. I'm going to think that it's going to be trying to solidify like Hulu. Hulu's a known brand, but it's somehow getting onto one platform, kind of thing. I'm going to guess that they're going to try unify everything together, and then they'll probably try. I wouldn't be surprised if they started kind of, I guess, clawing back some distribution rights for different regions so that they can put their content back onto one platform again. This is a big consolidation kind of thing. So
I think so. And honestly, when we talked about Disney Plus before it started, I can't believe we've been doing this podcast long enough to actually have been talking pre-Disney Plus when it was a glint in Bob Iger's eye. He was the reason that I, back at the start, was saying, I don't know if Disney Plus will work because I think they're going to try and keep it family friendly, and a streaming service without more adult content can't work. And that's the noises he was making. But for anybody who thinks that he's going to come back now and try and clean up Disney Plus, it was, he was the man behind it. What it's happened, how it's happened and what it's taken on and how it's evolved and been successful. He's not the kind of person to go, well, I want to set it back. He's only going to build on what they've done. So I don't think there's going to be any retrograde steps there. But like you say, I think it will be interesting to see how he maintains Disney's dynamic presence. And for me, I think it's interesting and curious news. We could talk about why Chapek didn't work out. But let's say he had a rough bit of timing with the Darkest Timeline, aka pandemic showing up. But also, he made a bit of a fluff of the whole Scarlett Johansson pay, Black Widow. It didn't feel as comfortable under him. So I'm not surprised Disney made this move. And they're too, and people say too big to fail. They're too big to mess around. I think they're one of those companies. Now, we need the steady hand at all times. We don't like uncertainty. We leave uncertainty to people like Warner Brothers or, the other studios. We're Disney. We're the ones that are under your bed at night, but in a cuddly way.
Yeah. It's an interesting Mickey Mouse underneath my bed. They do. The thing is that the overall person at the helm needs to be the steady hand that can turn it slightly to the right or slightly to the left, kind of thing to see the curve. But they do have they're big enough to have each of their departments or something like that have a little bit of uncertainty as they go different things. But overall, they just can't. They can't go like, well, what's next for Disney? I don't know. Rocket ships to the center of the earth. It's an interesting kind of one. And you are right. Like, the parks have been going down. Let's get Pop Culture even said it in the thing that the parks have been going downhill. I think it's because they've been expanding too fast with some of the new
Galaxy's Edge and all those things that they're doing.
Yeah. They've been kind of, I guess the parks have been trying to stay relevant with the idea of kind of with the new content, and instead of kind of curating them and kind of the Star Wars one it looks really, really fun and stuff like that they did, but it feels very much of a rip. I know this is really strange, but a rip off of the Harry Potter kind of version of it.
I get what you mean. The Universal Harry Potter stuff.
Yeah, so they haven't made it uniquely, and they've also done a formula kind of thing. So,
well, we shouldn't skip over this too much without mentioning Pop Culture 33. By the way, Pop Culture 33 is your search term on YouTube to go and find, no spaces, to go and find his channel, or YouTube/Pop Culture 33. But the reason I wanted to say, and Pop, I'm reading your comments here, and absolutely, but you're the person of all the people, because I know you're essentially a Disney historian. So when I saw this news, first thing I thought was, I got to talk to Paul about this. And the second thing I thought was, oh, this is going to blow Pop Culture's mind. This is a weird bit of news. This is landmark stuff for them. So I'm glad you're getting fun out of it. I'm really hoping. I don't really care about the Disney parks personally for me, but I kind of care about them for the people who are into them. So I hope they do manage to turn the parks around and keep that line of business going, not just from a financial point for the company, but for the people who it actually means something to. I've met people who are like, I go to the Disney parks 4, 5, 6, 7 times a year. It's a thing for them. So anything that's important to somebody like that and is creating some employment, I tend to lean towards supporting. So there you go. A tale of two Bobs. Robert time. One in, one out. It's unlike Marvel, where you can have as many Chris's and Toms as you want. You can only have one Bob at a time in Disney, apparently. See, one of them should have changed the name to Chris, and then they would have kept their job.
Yeah.
So Paul, what do you want to throw up next?
I think the biggest news. So the one of the biggest news is that we also won't bear the lead is Indiana Jones 5. There's a lot of news coming out of Indiana Jones 5, which has been interesting. Phoebe Waller Bridge has been making waves and stuff like that. She's going to be playing Indy's granddaughter Helena. This is an interesting one for me because one side of it, she's been getting absolute amazing praise from which is Harrison Ford and the directors and everybody who's been working with her, they've been just absolutely praising her work, her work ethic, her talent and everything like that, which is fantastic to hear, especially in an Indiana Jones movie. Your main staples are just being like, yeah, doing really well. This is going to be good. Especially when the director and Harrison Ford was just like, we're bringing Indiana Jones back to a more fun, adventurous kind of tone, which makes me think, what the hell what was the tone that they were going for in number 4? But anyway,
better not to mention it.
So just at the last minute, we're going to have to go for a break right now.
Cool.
We're going
to come back to Indy in a moment, though, because Paul, I think we all want a good Indiana Jones movie next. So let's come back after the break and talk about it there. See you all in a moment. Before there was Stranger Things. Before there was Chris Pine. There was Homebrew Quest. Hang on, that doesn't make any sense. Let me start again. YouTube is great for watching Hear Us Out, but what if you'd like a bit of D&D in your life? Homebrew Quest are a bunch of brilliantly creative Irish folks inspired, but even more inspired by the brews they're drinking in each episode. Ireland's supposed to be the land of saints and scholars, but it's also got drinkers and YouTubers, one of which might look a tad familiar. So get yourself over to Homebrew Quest and join the adventure. Links in the description down below, or search term Homebrew Quest. Tell them Hear Us Out sent you. Hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that little advertisement from one of our sponsors. Well, in fact, nobody's really sponsoring us. If you feel like sponsoring us, do yourself a favor. Don't bother putting money in envelopes or sending checks or signing up to Patreons. Just come along, give us comments. Comments pay our bills, because essentially all our bills are about interaction with you guys, because all the lovely people around the world, they're the ones we want to hear from, and that includes you, whoever you are and wherever you are. Paul, Indiana Jones 5. We'd like a good one. I think that's the way I ended the last bit. Yeah. Everybody would like it. And you're saying that, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is getting loads of compliments. I think, and I'm open to being wrong, I think she also co-wrote on this one. I did hear worrying reports that they were almost not going to release Indiana Jones 5 because the test screenings have gone so badly, all that stuff. But I consider that internet farts, essentially. Complete gaseous rumors. Because the idea that it's really that bad, and we're hearing it from unverified sources from screenings. This is just people messing around. I don't put any water in that cup.
Also, the amount of movies that have done test screenings, had bad reviews, gone back, retweaked things and stuff like that is immense. So they that could have been it could have been a thing where it's like, yes, a person from the test screening was just like, that was awful, but it was 12 months ago. Yeah. When they've gone, they've done reshoots and re-edits and all that kind of jazz, kind of thing. So, but
I happen to know that Pop Culture is a big indie fan and has one of the best defenses of Indiana Jones 4, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, a movie that I said didn't exist until he convinced me that it was okay that it existed. Still can't agree with him that it's a good movie, but made some brilliant points about why people like me are being just curmudgeonly. But I know an Indy 4 would mean, or Indy 5 would mean so much. Now, Pop has asked, do you think Disney's ignoring Indy 4? I'm wondering if you're saying from a storyline point of view. I think quite probably and quite possibly.
Well, yeah, this is the point that I was going to make at the before the ad thing. I think that Helena, which is Indy's granddaughter, is replacing, which goes,
Puck, whatever he was. Mutt.
from which is Shia LaBeouf's character. So his son. I think he's covering. I think she's replacing Muck, as essentially his new traveling family companion. And I was wondering, if that's it, if they do it, would that feel wrong, in the kind of sense of, but because like my thing is that we've had so many companion characters and stuff like that that have.
Indiana Jones ignores its previous movie every time, essentially. Like it's a swashbuckling series, not a continued single story. It has a main character who has traits, but you didn't exactly find them in the Temple of Doom talking about, hey, do you remember the time we melted all the candle-faced people in the Ark, or with the Ark of the Covenant? So I don't really mind. What my interesting thing for this will be is, how will Disney market Indiana 5? Like, how will they push this? Because I'm going out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that people are going to say Disney aren't supporting Indiana Jones 5, and they aren't advertising well enough. Because I actually believe that one of its big selling points is that it won't need as much advertising. I'd say they'll have brought the budget down by 15% on the advertising side of things, because they know this is a brand that's up there. You know, it's up there. It's not quite Star Wars, etc. But there are very few single character, name in the title, genre series like Indiana Jones. In fact, I can't think of another one.
No, Indiana Jones is just one of those, like Star Wars and Star Wars, Back to the Future, Star Trek. Any of those names comes out and that they're releasing a new movie, you don't really have to advertise too much. And if you do, you can pretty much just reuse old advertisement material a lot of the time, and we'll be just like, woo. So I think this is going to be, they'll two-foot. I think there'll be more advertisement of the other characters, the peripheral characters of kind of like the villains and some of the people who are going to help, and Helena, and stuff like that. I think they'll be more advertised than Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones. Obviously, they'll still have an Indiana Jones thing, but I think they'll focus more on kind of more of the round characters around them. Kind of thing. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, so that's one of the parts of the story. So the other one is essentially that at the start there's going to be a flashback to de-aging, Harrison Ford or Indiana Jones, I have some quotes here, which is there's a de-aging scene at the start, which is obviously a flashback. It might explain some muck or some other stuff. But it's probably actually a little bit further. But it's this is so quoted from Harrison Ford. This is the first time I've seen it where I believe it. It's a little spooky. I don't think I even want to know how it works, but it works.
About the de-aging of himself. That must be quite creepy for somebody to see themselves de-aged.
Yeah, and then he says, "Doesn't make me want to be young, though. I'm glad to have earned my age." Is another part of his quote.
And he got better looking with age. I'm jealous of that man. I'm also jealous that nobody else can be effortlessly grumbly and upset, but make it kind of charming. I don't know if I want to do an Indiana Jones film. Crashing a plane. I hurt my foot. And everybody's like, "Oh, it's Harrison Ford. I love everything he's saying right now."
Yeah, I can't. Yeah,
he's a hot dude. He is just built handsome.
He is built handsome. I will say that. But which is So do you have an issue with the de-age? Is people just asking in general problems with de-aging and stuff like that? Are you looking forward to seeing young Indiana? Let us know down in the comments down below.
Yeah. And for me, it's the same rule as always, Paul. If it works in the story and it's done with care, everything is on the table. It's that 100% answer to, oh God, another sequel. It's like, who cares if it's a sequel to something as long as it's a good movie on its own.
That's pretty much
same thing with de-aging. So we will say hello to Indy at some stage, but for now, shall we say goodbye? Do you have anything else you want to drop in?
just that we know the movie's going to be about Nazis again. So it went from Nazis, weird temple dudes. Sorry, Nazis, temple dudes,
Hmm.
Nazis, communists,
Yeah.
Nazis again. So it's going to be space Nazis in the space race, kind of thing. So it'll be an interesting storyline to bring back, which goes Indy's old rivals, old enemies. The only thing that they need to do is just put snakes on motorcycles, just to kind of really kind of judge this up a little bit more. Disney, if you want a writer who is absolutely crazy, I'm available.
Yeah.
I'll make a better scene than the ants in 4, but not as good as weird ultimate dimension aliens.
Yeah, we should really not talk about 4 because it makes me uncomfortable, and I do have to then mentally go. After this, I'm going to watch Pop Culture's video again to try and bring me back down, because I do have some very irrationally strong feelings about that. But there you go. It's because I love the first 3 movies so much, and yes, that includes Temple of Doom for all you Temple of Doom haters. Paul, moving on to, well, people who've had their haters and their fans and people who are being weird. I'm going to throw up James Gunn and Peter Safran. I'm about to mess up his name again. And this is a story from our friends over at The Direct. I'm giving them a shout out because there's no point in stealing stories from somebody without giving them a shout out. They broke to me the news that good old Gunn and Co. walked out on stage and said, "Hey, when it comes to DC, we're in charge now." Yeah, everybody thought old news. Said, "Well, did you know that one of our plans is to make a 10-year plan? And as they put it, create a DC Bible. They want to have all of their movies, TV shows, games, animation, the whole 9 yards, the whole kit and caboodle, and they want to have a connected through line, or at least a tenuous connection, or I should say maybe not even just tenuous. They want to have it in some way singing off the same hymn sheet." For me, that's the Marvel way. That's the Marvel way that we've been talking about. And we've always said that DC is at its best when it does its own thing. But then DC stopped doing its own thing well enough, Paul. So I'm kind of willing to say, if they can pull this off, I don't mind if there's a second MCU that's the DCU and it's good. I would worry if they start off on a path and get it wrong, because the expectations people have now are different than back in the days of Iron Man and some Incredible Hulk post-credit scene, and that early days of what people didn't know would be a cinematic universe. DC are going to have a tough time doing something at this scale, including games and animation. Like, do you think they're crazy, Paul? Because I think they're playing with fire here.
So, first off, I think that they're going to get a little bit more sympathy and a little bit less expectation because their track record for movies hasn't been so far great.
True.
I think people will be cautious about how they're going to go about it. With I think that people are going to be excited but cautious, And you are, like, I completely agree. If they go off on this 10-year plan and they get the first, if they're going down some stairs or up some stairs and they miss that first step, then it's going to be a long way up or a long way down,
exactly,
kind of thing. So, but the games. So Marvel haven't done the games part or the animated part. Like, Marvel have done What If, but that's been a very kind of like tenuous connection to the overall Marvel
and
universe.
The games they've kept set, like, they're making games on their characters, but they're not tying them into the MCU.
Yeah, so that part is an interesting kind of, I guess, added thing, because I think, as we said, DC has been great when they've been more creative and kind of taking, like, the Batman and the Joker kind of elements. They've kind of taken turns to kind of be different in those movies, compared to their kind of, I guess, centralized overall universe. It's going to be interesting when essentially they start making everything uniformed in a way, kind of thing. It might stifle. No, it might not. Like, James Gunn might be able to control the kind of chaotic creativeness and be just like, yeah, you can do this and stuff like that, as long as, like, these 3 things are there. But yeah, it's going to be an absolute
It's going to be exciting to watch.
Control.
It's going to be very exciting to watch.
Yeah, you don't know if they're going to burn down the house or they're going to, like, you know,
or build an amazing castle.
Yeah, so that's the only word. It's, as most of these things, it's one or the other, but their foundation is fairly rocky as it is. So it'd be interesting to see what the next couple of films. So also to warn everybody, and you hear it here first, and hear us out. Realize that the next few films that are coming out are still part of the backlog from original DC. So don't start judging the new plan on those films. Shazam, which is Shazam and Black Adam, are all part of the old
The Flash, if that does actually come out.
Yeah, so like they are still built on the old kind of model. It's when James Gunn and Peter kind of, I guess, start announcing the new lineup of what's coming out and stuff like that. That's when you need to kind of look at it.
Technically, they only started the job this month. You know, they started a few weeks ago, so don't expect them to have. And I'm sure when they're talking about a 10-year plan, they're saying that they're going to have a 10-year plan. They have ideas. They're creative people. They're going to have ideas. They've got a pretty good partnership record. I think fair play to them. Whatever way it works out, I'm really looking forward to watching it unfold, and I'm really looking forward to talking with you about it and our lovely listeners over the years. I will say, just a little shout out to the faceless masses that is the weird people of Twitter, and in that I include Snyder lovers and Snyder haters and all sorts of people, and Marvel lovers and DC haters and all the rest of that stuff. But why somebody took it upon themselves to shout at kind of James Gunn and say, you're either Marvel or DC, man, because he's, you know, finishing off his Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, even though he now works for DC. I thought that's the weirdest thing in the world, because that shows a level, and I'm not going to use the word privilege because that's should be reserved for so much more serious topics, but that shows a level of lack of memory of what it was like before comics-related properties were taken seriously. Yeah. You remember what it was like in the dark days, Paul, when you couldn't get any of your friends to watch Iron Man. You know, say, I'm going to see a movie called Iron Man. It's called Iron Man? Oh, so stupid. What the hell is he made out of metal? Yeah. So we've moved on, and the nerds inherited the earth here, folks. Let's not ruin it by being such a-holes. I couldn't believe it when I saw that.
It's from a subculture that is essentially like being made famous in movies by being the punching bag of stronger people, but yet being the kind of emotionally growth people of kind of acceptance and stuff like that. Having them turn around to people and just be like, you like the DC movies? Well, you're weird. It's kind of like, don't gatekeep our own culture, man.
Yeah.
Like, we're together on this. We like things together. I might not like that. Look, the amount of times that I've had to have conversations about Lex, that weird sci-fi show, and be just like, I like it, but I also don't it doesn't mean that I'm like hate Star Trek or Stargate or, you know, Star Wars or anything else. I just like Lex. Like, go away with your whole kind of like, well, you can't like other things. And it's just like, that's not how the universe works.
Exactly. Huh? Quit picking a team and quit forcing everybody else to pick a team. Anyway.
Just more content that we all love and feel, you know. And I know that in the past the DC model hasn't been great, and they've destroyed characters or felt like they've destroyed characters and stuff like that. But man, have you seen the Marvel films from the past before Iron Man and Incredible Hulk?
Just about to say, nobody's at Ang Lee's house throwing eggs for the Incredible Animated Hulk. Yeah.
So like, just stop it. Stop embarrassing yourself.
Oh, I love it. I think there's a clip from this show. Just stop it. Stop embarrassing yourself. It's like that Michael Jordan clip. Just stop. You're embarrassing yourself. Anyway, so enough of the DC and all the wonky parts of our nerd culture. Who would you like to talk about next, Paul?
Well, we'll go on to another one of my main stories, which is Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Matty and seen here looking like one of them's farted and is trying not to laugh, and the other one is really, really, really trying not to admit that they were the one that farted. It's rather awesome. I do love this picture.
So yeah, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. It'll come up for me in a couple of minutes.
Oh, right. When you see it, you'll know.
Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, which goes, yeah, so the partnership is back. They are the ones who, it looks like, yeah, I keep forgetting. Both of them look so proud of a fart.
Which one of them? Which one of them do you think like cut it off? You know, which one of them released the gas, and which one of them is trying? Yeah, yeah.
It's Ben. Ben farted, and Matt Damon is trying to keep us cool. It's just obvious.
See, for me, it's Matt's just completely squeezed cheese, and Ben is like, I am not going to be part of this. I'm going to keep a straight face. Yeah, I love that picture. That is possibly my new favorite picture.
Well, there you go. So yeah, so the partnership is back. They've been together for what, Dogma, which goes Good Will Hunting, several other kind of projects together as well. Behind the camera, you know, which goes in front of the camera and everything in between, kind of thing. They've announced a new production company. Now they had one previously together, kind of. I think it was more kind of like Ben had started it up and Matt had bought into it and stuff like that. But they are, which is opening a new production company, which was called Equality.
Ethical Artists, is it? I can't remember what it's called right now. Actually,
sorry, I have it in my notes. I should have, which is I was looking for the, which goes artists equity. Yeah. My God, I was real bad at that name.
The professionalism is pretty much blowing the doors off right now.
Staggering, ladies and gentlemen. The weird energy continues because I had all this written down and everything like that. So the new production company, anyway, Artistic Equity, is essentially based on the fact that which is they are giving back more control and more equal shares of kind of, I guess, the profits and everything from movies back to the writers, the directors, which goes costume designers, like essentially the production people and creatives that bring the movie together, other than just the big money houses, kind of producers and that kind of level. So editors and everybody behind the scenes and stuff. So they're making it a little bit more equal and stuff, which is a great idea in practice. I really hope it goes this well. Kind of thing. Those two, Ben and Matt, very much love to be on all aspects of creating movies. That I'm hoping that this is a very true line for this new production company. The idea for them currently is that they have 3 movies in production. So they'll release that for the first year, and then from going forward, they aim to have 5 movies released from their production company.
It's a lofty goal.
Year. It is. This is the thing for a new production company. The only way this works is essentially because Ben Affleck and Matt Damon's name is attached to it.
Yeah, I wish them all the best. And I'm one of those people, I'm going to get it out right now. I happen to think both Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are criminally underrated when it comes to their skills and talents. So I'm a big fan of these two guys for their work. I don't know them personally, and I'm not going to get into their personal lives. Anybody wants to have that conversation, have it with the wall, not with me. But as far as their professional careers, I'm very impressed by both of those gentlemen. So I'm really glad that they're getting together to help others be the next, you know, Matt Fleck, whatever. I don't know how these. Yeah,
Ben Damon. Ben Damon sounds like a weird foot remover or something like that.
Yeah, I think Ben Damon is the guy that comes to your house to fix something that you didn't call him for. It's like, hi, I'm Ben Damon. I'm here to fix the lighting. I didn't call the lighting guy. Okay, bye, Ben Damon. Just that weird kind of generic serial killer name.
That is true. So yeah, so this gives back to the creative sides and stuff like that. So we're hoping that it's going to be very well. One of the movies that they're currently working on, which is getting traction, is the Nike contract deal with Michael Jordan, that was made famous. Which goes. So I think currently now the working name is just Nike. But there hasn't been an official kind of. I don't think there's an official release name yet. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting. It also is starring Matt Damon and Ben Affleck as well. I guess it's that first movie kind of push where they'll put their big names into us to kind of get the ball moving on that. So
why not?
I'm expecting a lot of. Sorry.
And why not? Exactly.
Yeah, like I'm expecting a lot of good things from this production company because, okay, Quentin Tarantino might be a big kind of, in my view, big asshole, but he did say that the last couple of years have stagnated in film, and although I disagree with the group of films that he's targeted with that comment, I do believe that we haven't had as well of a different story and stuff like that as
Yeah.
we've gotten. I think everybody can agree prequels, sequels, and reboots have been rife with kind of either amazing. I'm looking at you, Maverick. Amazing, like work, or they've just been awful and they just feel like money grabs kind of things. So I'm hoping that this production company starts looking at different stories and starts leading the way into kind of bringing us new and fantastic kind of like stories that we can have. Once again, I love the Marvel and DC movies. I don't believe targeting them. I think targeting them because they're the big guys right now in town is just an easy
It's lazy.
bag kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can agree with you. I actually think Tarantino had a point. I think he just made it in a lazy way. So yeah. It's weird. I'm glad you brought that up because we hadn't spoken about that. Yeah, absolutely agree.
Yeah.
So yeah, every Nolan had to get a start somewhere. If what Matt and Ben bring to all this is giving the next Michael Mann their shot or whatever it might be, then great. Let's see where this all goes. Paul, what would you like next?
Well, now we're in the honorable mentions part. Oh no, sorry, I have one more. I forgot. Pixar's new movie has had its teaser release. Elemental, which I'm looking forward to, because it's Pixar. I think the only one that they've kind of missed me with was with Lightyear, kind of thing. Which is not as in Lightyear was fun. I really enjoyed it. But I did think that it was kind of revisiting a well that they've already kind of tapped into a little bit more. And the reason that I like Pixar is because they have really unique different stories, like with Soul and which
Inside Out and Turning Red and all these things. Like this looks like it's back to that. I'll be honest with you, I watched this trailer and I thought there's an element of Inside Out with a great there's going to be so much visual flair to be had in the idea of people representing elements. There's a lot to be said for cloud, dirt, fire, water, all that kind of stuff. I'm digging it. This is one of those things that I don't know how well it'll resonate with everybody. They'll do a great job. They always do. I hope it's good, and if it is, I hope it gets recognized, because I'm thinking that Pixar movies don't get the recognition they used to. That's one thing that's happened in this new world of blockbusters, etc. I think people of all ages really did work out that Pixar movies were for all ages. And then there was just a few missteps where some animated movies skewed towards children more again, and I think adults were put off a little bit. So I'm hoping this is a return to form, and people get back into it, because not enough people saw Soul. It was strangely underwatched, I thought.
That's interesting, because all I could hear about on my Twitter and social network was literally how good Soul was.
Yeah, everybody that saw it loved it, I think. But its numbers didn't support that for me, that it was still going in the right direction for everybody.
That's interesting, yeah. But yeah, no, I agree that Pixar have had, like, I guess with Lightyear and stuff like that, it's been feeling more kind of. I felt like Lightyear was more of a kind of, well, we can make this movie, we can attach it to a well-known product already or a well-known IP so that we can get some, brand recognition.
Yeah.
And then people will enjoy it. Elementals looks like an interesting kind of play towards their usual kind of let's make you cry kind of thing, which is just like every time someone goes, oh yeah, have you seen the new Pixar kind of teaser trailer or the new movie or something like that, and I'm just like, okay, so if I'm gonna watch this, I need to do it in a safe space where I'm ready to
Uprooted me.
Yeah. So the Elemental is about a flame elemental, which is called Ember, who has a friend who is a go with the flow kind of friend called Wade. So it's an interesting kind of and also the fact that go with the flow kind of relaxed dude is water, and then the sparky kind of like,
Yeah.
person is fire. So I can only guess that they're going to slag Earth, because I'll be honest with you, Earth is my favorite elemental, and it's going to be slow, and
I know exactly what you mean. I'm looking forward to how clever they are at shoving in little nods to look how clever we were naming that building that water people work in, or naming another water person. I'm already racking my brain trying to think, what would I name all the different characters for all these things? Because when they said Wade in the trailer, I instantly smiled. He's like, yeah, hi, I'm Wade. It's like, oh yeah, water dude called Wade, of course. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, touch nose, elbow. It's all cool.
yeah. So like, yeah. So I thought I'd bring that towards it. It's one to watch as more and more objects come out and stuff. So, or more and more trailers and stuff like that. Even though we're not massive fans of the trailer kind of thing. So, but yeah, keep an eye out.
Can I pick from some of your honorable mentions, because we're going to have to land the plane soon enough? I'm going to head for the Star Trek 4 Jonathan Frakes talk of directing, or offering to direct. I just did it because I want to talk about this simply because how cool would that be? Also, Jonathan Frakes. Like, every time I see a picture of classic him, which I've got up on screen right now, and Paul, when you see it, you'll know. I just know that handsome bearded bugger he's just about to Riker maneuver himself halfway across a stool somewhere in the room. He's gonna be sitting in a chair in an inappropriately jazz-tastic fashion. So I think we might have had a small lag there, folks. Sorry if our internet is slowing us down. I think it's interesting that he could be a director for an actual full-size movie now. Do you think he stands a chance?
Well, this is the thing. So it comes out from the current delays in production and everything that's going on with Star Trek 4. So that's where the offer kind of came from, was to help, I guess, pick up some of the slack as it works. And I also know that J.J. Abrams is quite busy with a lot of other projects. So I think it was just a kind of like, here, listen, I'm well versed in the Star Trek universe. So why don't I give you guys a hand? So this is just, it would be great. His like reprisal in Picard was absolutely amazing. It just felt like a big warm hug from more people. So yeah, I'm looking forward to. I would look forward to a Star Trek 4 film, which is directed by him. To be honest, if there's anyone, the only other person I could think of would be like Brent Spiner.
Yeah, Data. Yeah.
He'd be the other person.
Frakes can direct. He directed episodes. Also, having seen him in real life once, he just looked like a lovely man. He was smiling and being lovely with everybody, but who knows? Maybe he drowns cats in his spare time. I didn't start that rumor here. My God, no.
Wow.
Paul, you're watching our stream come out live. If there's huge buffering, I'm sorry, because the stream health looks like it's excellent on this side, but the preview screen keeps showing me that we're getting buffering issues, so I hope we're not.
So I haven't seen any yet.
Great. Then we will move on to, how about a little bit of Escape from New York? Does that sound?
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, Escape from New York's reboot. As I said, just talking about, reboots and sequels and stuff like that. The Escape from New York reboot has got their directors, and it is the Scream guys, Taylor Gilliat and Matt. Matt, you tripped me up with your name.
Well,
Matt Elpin. Which is they are famous for starting up the Scream franchise and everything. So I think that they'll do good. It'll be interesting to see them doing Escape from New York kind of thing. But we'll see how that goes because it is a beloved franchise as much as I love. So
here you go. Sorry, I was just trying to look up that dude's name and then ducking around things that are in my way. Yeah, I everybody knows how I feel about Kurt Russell and growing up wanting him to be one of my friends. I'm down with the idea of remakes and reboots of things like this at this stage. I'm fine with it. I know a lot of people say it's sacrilege. Hey, we'll take it. I didn't see the latest Scream, so I don't know how good this directing duo are, or this creative team are. It's good. Then yay, win. Let's see how that one goes. Paul, sake of time, I'm going to let you choose between. Well, we'll get both in. How about we go Kang? Sound good?
Yes. So Kang, Jonathan Majors has come out and said how much fun it is to play the penultimate bad guy for the next phase of which is the MCU, which is fantastic. It means that we're going to get a very charismatic kind of, I guess, interesting character from with Jonathan Majors. I'm really interested in this because he said that he's had a lot of fun playing him in his new variant and also the other variants that he will have to portray. So I'm kind of interested in seeing how that will go. We got the Loki version. There's some hints that possibly there's in 353 Earth 353, which is the world that we're following, and the main one, which is that there's some stories coming out that Iron Lad is possibly going to be a Kang variant. You might recognize Iron Lad as being the kid from Iron Man 3. So there is some stories coming out that he might be a Kang variant for us.
Also known as the not looking like a kid anymore at the end of Endgame that everybody Googled going, I recognized everybody. Who's that tall young guy? That's the kid from Iron Man 3. That must have been one of the most Googled things after the opening weekend of Endgame for people.
We should we'll have a look at the trends and the Google Trends kind of thing there.
I would say it'd be hilarious. Jonathan Majors can act for sure. I wasn't completely convinced by not just him, but the way they kind of dragged out the end of Loki a little bit. I'm looking forward. The next definite view is going to be in Quantum Mania, or otherwise known as Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ant-Man 3, Quantum Mania, whatever. So yeah, it's hard to build another Thanos when you're going to be doing it more in plain sight. So I'm interested to see how they handle this. I know he can definitely do the acting. I'm glad he's having fun. That's a good sign.
Yeah, like that's my thing, because we've been very vocal about how good villains are against the heroes is very important, and the MCU has done very well in the past. So we'd be interested in seeing how this one goes. And if Jonathan Majors is having a blast playing Kang, I don't think he's going to be the kind of dictator tyrant as possibly Thanos was. There might be some other kind of elements to it. We did see the Loki version, which seemed to be a little bit more manic and kind of thing, a little bit more too short of himself, I will say that. But I'll be interested to see the next variants and a couple of other variants of Kang the Conqueror coming up in Quantum Mania and beyond, further in the next phases.
Yeah.
So
good luck, Jonathan Majors. Good luck to us all, because that's the next phase is going to very much, as you say, good villain, good chance of everything else working out. Whoops. So, Paul, last one. Blade has a director. Yes. Blade had a director, everybody. That director left the project, which made me think, because Blade's... how many years ago was it that Marshall Ali was rolled out at Comic-Con for Blade? It's got to be like 4 years ago nearly now.
Yeah, pretty much. It's been a while. So that's kind of it's been a project that's been on hold and kind of going through production hell. It should be added actually to the list of production hell kind of stuff. But yeah, it's interesting. Which is Jan Demange.
Demange.
So it's Helmer Jan Demange, he is going to be the new director of Blade. The reason I actually know him is because he directed Lovecraft Country, the TV series, which I fell in love with, and then stopped talking about, actually.
Yeah, true. True. How did that end up?
I enjoyed it. A lot of people didn't, but I think a lot of people who watched it weren't ready for what was kind of probably going to be going on. And then now that they're watching Cabinet of Curiosity, they're probably like even more confused.
Knowing you as well as I do, you're H.P. Lovecraft fan, so and that's part of the Del Toro love as well. So hey, this is all good if you felt that he did a good job with that. I want them to get their Blade movie, as in get it together. I don't want anybody rushing anything, but Blade, more than X-Men, more than Iron Man. I think Blade deserves a lot of credit, the original Blade, for getting people to come around to the idea that, hey, you can actually have fun in a comic book movie without just making fun of a kind of comic book movie. So I'm really interested to see the revival here.
Which is, wow. Okay, Pop Culture just said Lovecraft's greatest show in the last 5 years, which is pretty good high praise. But yeah, it's been a great show. So I don't think there's anyone. I have a lot of confidence in which to manage to kind of helm this in a very good way. But I do agree that the original one, which came out in like the 90s, which goes the early 90s or late 90s, which just has a big place to play in what's going to happen in this one, because they didn't pull any punches for the movie. They knew what they had to do to kind of show the world that Blade lives in. I'm hoping that this will also be similar, especially when they have Wishkos Damon in there. So,
well, Paul, I am going to walk us to a finish because we are about to run out of time. Everybody out there that's watching, thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving again. Pop Culture specifically to you because we know you're stateside. If we've not covered a news story, get it into the comments. Ask us what we think about it. We will discuss with you in text, if not in recorded video format. And we're up next week with an episode that I can't remember. So we're going to be back next Thursday with more goodness of some sort. Yeah, like, subscribe, share. I'll just get that in there. So, Paul, who have you been?
I've been Paul.
And I've been Patrick.
And we've been Hear Us Out.
Certainly have, folks. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.
Bye. See you later, guys.
Bye.